All right, let's talk about a huge moment for any language learner, reading your very first real book. I know, it can seem like this massive, scary mountain to climb, but it's also one of the absolute best things you can do for your skills. So, let's dive in.
So, are you there? Are you ready to finally put down the graded readers and pick up a book that was actually written for native speakers? Yeah, it's a big step, maybe even a little intimidating, but you gotta trust me, that feeling when you finish that last page, it's just incredible. But what's the best book to start with? See, that's the trick question. The secret is, there's no single magic book that works for everyone. Nope. The real key is finding the right strategy for you. And today, we're going to unpack 4 really powerful strategies to help you find that perfect first read.
Okay, our first strategy, this one is maybe the most powerful of them all, and it's so simple. Read what you already know. Start with the story you already love.
Think about it for a second. If you grab a book you've already read in your own language, like Harry Potter or The Little Prince, you've got a huge head start. You already know the plot, you know the characters, you know what's going to happen. And that's a massive advantage, because it means you can stop worrying about what's going on and just focus all your brain power on the new language.
And this quote just says it all. This is from a Polish learner who is reading The Little Prince. Because he knew the story inside and out, he realized that even understanding just 5% of the words was enough to keep up. The big lesson here, you really don't have to understand every single word to get going.
And check out the payoff. By the time he finished that same short book, his understanding jumped from just 5% all the way to 60%. That is a huge leap. It just goes to show how fast your brain can soak up a language when the framework of the story is already there to support you.
So what if you want to start with a story that's totally new to you? Well, that brings us right to strategy number 2. Look for books written with simple, powerful prose.
Now, we're not talking about children's books here. We're talking about authors who write with this amazing clarity. You want to steer clear that really dense, academic writing full of crazy long sentences. Instead, you're looking for an author whose style is clean, direct. One expert had a beautiful way of putting it. Find a book that has spaces between the words. That gives your brain some breathing room to actually process the language and enjoy the ride.
So what does this actually look like on a shelf? Well, think about short but really profound novels, like Train Dreams by Dennis Johnson, or maybe the sharp, clear short stories of a writer like Raymond Carver. These are stories written for adults. They have great plots, but the language itself is just accessible. It's not going to totally overwhelm you.
Our third strategy is a little unexpected, but honestly, it can be a total game changer. It's all about finding a unique narrator who can secretly become your best friend as a language learner.
First off, what's an authentic novel? It's simple, really. It's just a book written for native speakers, not a watered-down version for learners. And let me tell you, finishing one of these gives you this massive sense of achievement. It's proof that you've really conquered a piece of the language.
And the perfect example of this strategy is Mark Haddon's book, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. The story is told by a young boy with autism, and because of the way his mind works, his narration is super direct, very literal, very logical. He doesn't use a lot of confusing idioms or metaphors, which makes his style surprisingly easy for language learners to follow. Plus, it's just a fantastic story that students at all kinds of levels seem to absolutely fall in love with.
And that brings us to our fourth and final strategy, which, I gotta say, might be the most fascinating one of all. You can literally pick a book where the language itself gets more complex right along with you. Just imagine it. You start reading, and the English is really simple, almost like beginner-level stuff. But then, as the main character in the story learns more English, the vocabulary and the grammar of the book itself start to get more complex. You are literally on the exact same learning journey as the main character. How cool is that?
The book that does this perfectly is A Concise Chinese-English Dictionary for Lovers. It's about a young woman from China who moves to England and she barely knows any English. The book starts in this really beautiful, simple, sometimes broken English, but as she learns, the writing itself evolves. It's so charming, it's funny, and it's just full of these wonderful insights about culture. It's the perfect way to feel your own skills getting stronger with every single page.
So we've walked through 4 really different, really powerful approaches. Now, let's just pull it all together so you can get out there and find your perfect book.
The key here is to think of these as tools. You now have a language learning toolkit. So the question to ask yourself is, what do you need right now? Do you need the comfort of a story you already know, or the clean, simple style of a great writer? Maybe you need the helping hand of a really unique narrator, or do you want that shared journey of growing with a character?
And that really brings us full circle, back to our main idea. There is no single best book for learners. Forget about that. The best book is the one that gets you excited, the one that feels like something you can actually do, and the one that fits the strategy that feels right for you right now.
Reading your first authentic novel. That is a milestone. It's a moment you are never, ever going to forget. It's the point where you prove to yourself, hey, I can actually do this. I can operate in this language. So the only question left is, what book will yours be?